here. Reminder from yesterday. What has to happen in order to be able to perform multiplication on two matrices? Does anybody remember this?
Oh, the inside numbers.
Yes, the inside numbers have to be the same. So for example, if I take a 1 by 3 matrix and I multiply by a 3 by 6 matrix, because the inside match, the inside numbers, so the inside have to be the same, my resulting matrix will be the outside rows and columns. So for example, it would be a 1 by 6 matrix. 1 by 6. And the reason being, in matrix multiplication, which we saw yesterday, to find the corresponding elements, you have to multiply the rows of the first matrix by the columns of the second matrix. So for example, if I'm looking at this problem, and I know we visited this yesterday, but just as a reminder, this is a 2 by 2 being multiplied by a 2 by 2. Is it possible to multiply? Yes, because the middle two match. My resulting dimensions are going to be the outside first row by the second matrices column, so a 2 by 2. And then remember, if you want to find the elements in each row and column, for example, the first element would exist in row 1, column 1. To find what element would be placed here, I would take the elements of row 1 and multiply them by the elements of column 1. And what am I going to do with their products? Add them together, right? So here in place, I'm going to have -4 times -2 plus 0 times 0, which is just 0. So I know that the answer here will be 8. Okay, for the second element, which would go in row 1, column 2, then I multiply row 1 of the first matrix by which column of the second matrix? Yep, by column 2. And so I would have -4 times 4 plus 0 times 1. And that answer will go there. We'll put our answers just right underneath. This is kind of review from yesterday. In the next position, this would exist in row, and I'll change the color on this one. This one would be row 2, column 1. So I know I'm going to take the elements of row 2, which would be 1, 3, and multiply them by which column? Yep, column 1 of the second matrix, yeah. So that would be 1 times -2 plus 3 times 0. And then last but not least, to find the element that would exist in row 2, column 2, I'm going to take row 2 of the first matrix and multiply them by the elements of column 2 in the second matrix. And I know I have a lot of colors going on here. But this would be 1 times 4 plus 3 times 1. I imagine just flipping the row and kind of lining it up right next to the column, and that kind of just tells me which numbers to correlate and multiply. So my answer matrix would be the elements 8, -16, -2, and 7. And that would be my answer. I know that's a review from yesterday, but I want to stop. Any questions on that? Okay, can we do this next one with our partner and then we'll check our answer? This one would be a 2 by 2. You have to do rows by columns. Remember RC Cola? So this would be a 2 by 2 multiplied by a 2 by 4. Because it's 2 rows, 4 columns. So what will the resulting dimensions be? 2 by 4, the outside numbers. 2 by 4. Okay. Go ahead with your partner, just kind of check your answers together, say, hey, what did you get? And then we'll come together and see if we got the same thing. Should have. Now, it took me a little time just because I wanted to show all the work that would go into each element. In case you made a mistake, you could see where your mistake lied. But how did we do? Did we get this matrix as our answer? Yeah. Jeremiah? Do you need to show this step?
Yeah.
No, you don't have to. My precaution would be on on a quiz or a test. So the test coming up next block day. If you make one simple error, like if you have the work, I could at least give you like half a point. Like, oh, they added wrong, but they know how to do it. Versus if you have some incorrect answers, I can't give you any half credit on that. Linda? Negative 13. Where did I make my mistake? Give me the row 2, column 3. Estúpido. Negative 1 plus negative 12 is negative 13. Sorry, guys. I did that wrong. Yeah, and I could see that here, but see how if you made a simple algebra error, so here's my algebra error, negative 1 plus negative 12. If I had shown this work on the quiz or test, I could have at least given like half credit for that element because I saw, oh, it was an algebra they added wrong, but they have the right work shown there. Does that make sense why it might be helpful to show the work? Okay. All right, this next one. So yes, this should be our answer. Sorry about that mistake, guys. For this one here, this is a 2 by 2 being multiplied by a 3 by 3. What would be our resulting matrix? Impossible. You cannot multiply if the middle dimensions do not match. Any questions on this so far? All right, let's move to the second page then. Here's just another application of matrix multiplication. To prepare for a banquet, a school needs to rent 40 chairs, 3 large tables, and 6 punch bowls. There are 2 rental shops that rent these items with the prices shown below. This is actually a good example to look at. For example, I know a lot of the juniors right now are working on junior senior, and we're like looking to buy chairs, tables, things to rent for the space, or just like vases and stuff. So it's kind of cool that we could organize data into a matrix and just see, hey, which companies would be best to buy from. So we can turn the information for the number of items rented into a matrix, as well as then use matrix multiplication to determine which rental shop is a better choice. What is the dimension of the rental prices matrix right now? 3 by 2. It has 3 rows, 2 columns. So that would be a 3 by 2. Put the information about how many chairs, tables, and bowls the school needs into a 1-row matrix. So how many chairs does the school need? 40. How many tables does the school need? 3. And how many punch bowls? 6. It says use matrix multiplication to find a matrix that shows the total cost of renting all equipment from each of the 2 shops. So if we take the amount of equipment needed, which is 40 chairs, 3 tables, and 6 bowls, and we multiply it by the prices from each company, so company A tells us that it's $2 per chair, $20 per table, and $6 per bowl. And company B says it's $2.50 per table or per chair, $15 per table, and $4 per bowl. We can do a quick matrix multiplication to see, well, which company is better. So first let's analyze what will our resulting matrix be. This piece here is a 1 by 3 matrix. This one is a 3 by 2. So what should our resulting matrix be? 1 by 2, which is great because that will show us the total cost for company A and for company B. Okay, so go ahead and multiply this out with your partner. We'll check our answers up at the screen. All right, guys, which company should the school rent from? Company B, because it's a less cost for the items that we specifically need. So we would say from which school should from which shop should the school rent? B, shop B. Any questions about that? Okay, go ahead and take out your calculator. I'm going to show you how you could check your answer on the calculator. So tonight's homework I would ask you to do by hand, but you can use your calculator to check to see, hey, did I make any simple mental math errors? And I want to write down the commands that we are going to press, and then I'll show you the calculator on the screen to press with you. So what you're going to do is you're going to find your matrix button, which the command for that is second, and then x to the negative first. That's going to give you your matrix option. Then you'll take your cursor and scroll over to edit. And then select whichever matrix you want to put in for. So I would put 1 in for A and 2 in for B and call this matrix A and this matrix B. So we'll go over to edit. And then you do have to know the dimensions. What are the dimensions of if I call this matrix A? 1 by 3. So I'm going to press 1, enter, 3, enter. And then I'll enter in my elements. Just 40, enter, 3, enter, 6, enter. After you edit matrix A, so I'm going to put each element, press enter to scroll to the next element. So how do we get out of any screen? Do you guys remember? Second mode will quit out of the screen. Is second mode. And that will allow us to go back in and edit matrix B. What's what? Shop B. Shop. Shop. No. This is just how to enter the matrix in on the calculator. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video. I'm going to